At the beginning of the movie, some college students are taken to a forest, blindfolded and tied with ropes. When they reach a forest, some of the captured college students are forced to kneel down and recite the oath that the college students who brought them in have made them recite. Then, the student who brought them into the forest leaves the college students and returns. The blindfolded students do not know where they are. In the next scene, a woman named Barbara wakes up early in the morning to send her children to school. She wakes her children up and makes breakfast for them. Barbara is a very caring person and a devout Catholic. She has 4 children, and the eldest son, Jimmy, is a college student. Barbara loves her children so much that she calls her son, who lives far away, and living in dormitory near the college. She always tells her son that how much she loves him. But she didn't know that her son was always being bullied. In college. There was a terrible tradition in that college where senior students bullied junior students at will. One day, Jimmy, one of the junior students who was always being bullied by seniors, got angry. But he couldn't fight back. One day, junior students, including Jimmy and the senior students in the college, took an oath together and held a party where all the students met. At the party, the students danced happily and drank alcohol. While all the students were having fun, the student leader secretly crushed the drugs and put them in a bottle of alcohol. Then he gave the bottle of alcohol containing the drugs to Jimmy and made him drink it. Then Jimmy drank the alcohol containing the drugs and got drunk and fell to the floor. While he was unconscious, the student leader and the others wrapped him with tapes, and the students celebrated by drinking and celebrating after that. Jimmy's friend was worried that something was going to happen to Jimmy, so he went to the place where all the phones were stored to call for help. When he got to the place where the phones were stored, the student leader said he didn't want to give him the phone, and went to the rest of the students and told them that the party was over and gave them all their phones back. Jimmy was so drunk that he lost consciousness and was rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Then, Jimmy's friend called Jimmy's parents and asked them to come to the hospital where their son was. Jimmy had been brutally forced to drink and abused by his friends, and he went into a coma and had no chance of surviving. His parents stayed by his side during his final moments and prayed for him. Then they turned off Jimmy's breathing machine, and Jimmy died. After Jimmy's death, Jimmy's mother, Barbara, spent the whole day. She was so sad and depressed that she had no appetite. She was so upset about her son that she couldn't send her other children to school as usual, and instead, she was lying on the couch, smoking and drinking. One night, when her husband tried to convince her to do something to calm her down, she started searching the internet for stories about students who had been hazed at school by senior students. Then Barbara realized that her son's death was not normal. So, she set out to investigate. She called someone and asked him to help her. She then went to the mother of children who had died from bullying at school, and asked her to take records about her children. Barbara told the mother that she would give the report to someone in her husband's friend who was a judge, and that she would work to bring the perpetrators to justice. She took a copy of her son's story from the mother. Then she traveled to another place and called a film company to ask them to make a story about her son. But the company refused. Then she asked her husband's friend, who is a judge, to help her take legal action to solve the problem of her son being bullied by students. But the judge refused Barbara's request for help, saying that he would help with everything else except that case. Then Barbara, not giving up, went to the mothers of children who were bullied at school like hers, and took the records of their sons' stories from them. Then she traveled to another place and got records from other parents. The parents she met told Barbara that their sons were constantly bullied by seniors at school. Then Barbara went to a students' parents' conference that her husband was going to, on her husband's behalf. When she arrived at the conference, she told the other parents that her son had died at school, and that the death was not an ordinary death, but the result of bullying by other students. She said that the government should try to pass a law to address bullying in schools. She was even told that her husband's friend, the judge, would help her. However, the parents of the students did not care about her, and the judge who could have helped her threw her out of the fundraiser. Then she drove home in despair. While she was driving, her husband called her and returned the call. When she returned the call, her husband told Barbara that their son was constantly being bullied at school. The students had arrested their son at school and hazed him. Those students even forced him to drink alcohol, which made Thea's son died. Their son had died because of the actions of those students. Then, Barbara got angry and went to a gun store in town and bought a pistol. Then, she prepared to take revenge on the students who had beaten her son to death. The next morning, Barbara called the students who had bullied her son and went to the place where they were. Then she called the student leader, and Barbara arrested the student leader in the car. She pointed the gun at the student leader. Then Barbara took the student leader who killed her son to a house and locked him in the basement. When the student leader denied killing Barbara's son, Barbara poured a bottle of alcohol in his mouth in the same way he killed her son. Then Barbara cried and asked the student leader who killed her son, since her son still had siblings. Then Barbara allowed the student leader to call his parents and tell them that he killed Barbara's son. Then Barbara shot the student leader, but she didn't actually shoot the student. After Barbara made revenge for her son, she made breakfast for her children and sent them to school as usual. Then she went to church and stood in front of the statue of Saint Mary, and she said about sorry for what she had done. Barbara went to prison for attempted murder. One day, when she was on trial, the judge asked Barbara, the perpetrator, why she had to convince the student leader's parents that the student leader was dead. Then Barbara said that she didn't kill the student leader because she thought about the student leader's mother. The judge asked Barbara why she didn't kill the person who killed her son. Then Barbara told the judge, no mother can endure the loss of a son for more than 2 minutes because they can't feel it. Then, the movie ends here. I will continue to tell good movies every day. If you enjoyed every movies, I'll be so pleased to share.